Hello folks, today we have an upright Zeiss fluorescence microscope. This particular microscope is configured heavily for phase contrast. I'm making this video for one customer who happens to want to do a lot of contrasting with phase. But he's also interested in DIC, so for the 20 power objective, we've got DIC. That way we can show both phase contrast and DIC imaging on the microscope. Let's take a look at the microscope itself. Axioskop 2 Plus is the model, and let's take a look at the HBO 100 lamp housing with the power supply kind of hiding in the back. This is the fluorescence vertical illuminator. This is going to shine down and make the specimen fluoresce. The transmitted light source is the halogen 100. Goes through, mirrors up, transmits through the specimen. Our phase contrast and our DIC are both transmitted light techniques. And we also have dark field dry on this condenser. This happens to be a DIC compatible condenser, and if I loosen this, we can see some rotation. Looks like my rotifer's kind of getting away from me here. Let's try to put that back in the center of the image. I'll tighten this down. And we also have an analyzer cube in here. And for the fluorescence, we do have cubes to insert into the cube turret. By the way, this takes the push and click style. This does not take those old screw-in styles. So you just push them in, click them in place. And this is the 5-position cube turret rather than the 4-position cube turret. This is nice because you're typically going to use DAPI, FITSI, TRITSI on your fluorescence, and you're going to need one of them that's totally open for bright field and phase contrast. And like in this case, you're going to have one for DIC, an analyzer. So we have enough positions, whereas a 4-position really doesn't get you enough. You're going to be short. Okay, let's get a little bit of the imaging here on this rotifer. Okay, at this point we have a 20 power plan neofluor objective, and I'm just going to rotate the prism and see what happens here. We're going through a different shear plane. That's a pseudo dark field. Now I can see it a little better. So what you got to do is to just rotate this knob on the DIC prism that's right above the 20 power objective. Here we go through a pseudo dark field again, and then I go on over through a negative and a positive bias. So it really just depends on what you're trying to look at as to what exact setting is going to be what you want here. Okay, let's look at some other contrasting techniques. Okay, I'm going to switch this over to a phase contrast. So I have a phase annulus in the condenser, and I have a phase ring in the back aperture of the 20 power objective. That's why it's a green lettering. That means it's phase contrast. Okay, so at this point, we have pulled out the DIC. I'm even going to pull out the prism. So there's no prism at this point engaged in the rotary condenser. This is only the phase annulus and the phase annulus ring in the 20 power objective. And there is no analyzer anymore. So all of our DIC components have been taken out, and we're strictly phase contrast at this point. So let's take a look at the rotifer just in phase. I'm adjusting with my left hand the fine focusing. Okay, now let's go ahead and turn it to a 10 power. For the 10 power, I'm going to change the annuli, the phase annuli for the 10 power, because I had it on a pH2 a minute ago for the pH2 objective for the 20. The 10 power is a pH1. So there's the phase for the 10 power. Okay, now I'm going to change to the 40 power. This is a dry meaning it does not use any oil. Okay, and this is also a pH2. If you forget, just look on the objective lens. It says pH2. Oh my, now I've lost the critter. Okay, I had to get another rotifer on another slide. I lost the first one, plus it was starting to die on me. So at this point, we have 40 power phase contrast. I've got the 40 power, well, actually it's the pH2 ring in the condenser. That matches the writing on the plan NeoFluor pH2 at the top. And there is no analyzer. There's no DIC prism anywhere in this. So it's all phase contrast, and I'm focusing with my left hand just to see what happens. All right, this one is a little more lively. So I do not have this configured for DIC on the 40 power. It's only configured for DIC on the 20. Let's take a look at that on the 20. And also, let's add our DIC prism. And let's turn it to the prism here. And let's get our analyzer in place. And take a look and see what happens. He's kind of moving out of my path here. I think it's really nice to have the DIC because it's not a matter of showing everything. It's a matter of you can see something different with each type of contrasting technique. So with DIC, there's certain features, certain details that you're going to see that you're not going to see in phase contrast. Phase contrast is going to bring out something that DIC won't bring out. And depending on if you're going to do fluorescence and you want to stain your specimen, then you can see other features. Okay, overall, let's go over to dark field. I forgot about that. Let's do a dark field dry. So here we go, dark field dry. I need to pull out my analyzer. Let's take all the DIC components out here. Take a look at this dark field. So in dark field microscopy, I've got ideally I'm going to have a black background with my specimen shining up brightly. Let's change the objective to a 10 power and see what dark field looks like with the 10 power. Now one thing with dark field is you're going to lose more of the fine details on your actual specimen. As you can see, I can't really see those fine details here. But you are going to see, there again, you're going to see features in dark field that you're not going to see in the other contrasting techniques. That can be especially true with live blood cell analysis. A lot of people will use live blood cell analysis and they can see a lot more in it than what they're going to see with phase contrast or with bright field. Okay, so we've looked at the specimen with a 10 power, 20 power, and a 40 power. We also have a 100x oil immersion. I'm not going to turn that on for the moment. So that's basically a summary of this microscope. Thank you for watching.